Today we're going to talk about why you should read. And let me preface this by saying that in school I was never really big on reading. Every time we had to do those reading logs or reading journals where you'd have to fill out how many pages we read and answer a little prompt about what you read, I would always BS those and make up the responses. I remember choosing the easiest question out of all of them multiple times, and that was predict something that's going to happen in the next portion of the story. So I would repeatedly use that prompt over and over again throughout my reading logs just because that was the easiest one to do. It didn't really require any reading comprehension and to summarize anything that I actually read because I didn't actually read. And even still, reading for school is still hard. Like here in college, we get assigned readings pretty often for a lot of our classes, whether it be textbook readings or supplementary articles. And what I have to say is that it's really hard to get into a good habit of reading. I think there's plenty of benefits to reading. Personally, I feel like it increases my attention span because I'm not really being hit with huge spikes in dopamine like I am on social media or something of that sort, or on a video game. And it also allows me to learn from others, depending on what type of content you like to read. So my first tip is basically going to just be read what you want to read. For one, that makes it a lot more enjoyable for when you're actually going through the trials and tribulations of sitting there with a book open face. So if you can make that whole process as enjoyable as possible, you'll get the most benefit out of reading because you'll want to do it more. It's the same thing with learning an instrument. If I was going to learn how to play the guitar, I wouldn't want to make it harder for myself to play the guitar. It's going to be a lot easier for me to learn if I'm enjoying playing the guitar or if that's something I actually want to do. So for one, make sure that you enjoy what you're reading. Make sure it's something that you're interested in or maybe a topic that you want to learn about. For me, a big reason that I'm personally getting into reading more recently is to learn from others. So I've realized, and I've kind of heard around through other self-improvement YouTube channels that I've been watching, and they mention reading books. Reading books is good for you. You can increase your knowledge base. And what I've seen is that you can learn from other people. There's that saying that men learn from their mistakes, while wise men learn from the mistakes of others. If you think about all the problems you can have in your life, if you really boil it down, there's not too much variation in what could have happened in the past. So any problem that you're currently facing, somebody else in the past has faced before and probably has written a book about. So that's the approach that I'm taking to reading, is trying to learn from the mistakes of others and learning to deal with current problems that I'm dealing with in my own life so that I can have the wisdom passed on from other people who have learned from their mistakes. So I'm basically trying to learn from other people's mistakes and implement their advice into my own life so I can successfully navigate through whatever problem I'm facing. Sure, you could make the argument that with technology and social media, those are problems that haven't been faced by people in the past. But again, like I said, if you boil down the problem that you're facing with technology down to its more basic level, you will find somebody who's gone through that problem, but on a more simple scale. So to sum it all up, there are many great benefits of reading. I'm personally using it in order to learn from the mistakes of others and implement advice into my own life in order to navigate through whatever troubles that I'm facing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.